In this lesson, you're looking at finding the volume. So I want you to flip your formula sheet to the side that has the formulas for volume. The first thing you need to do when you're figuring out the volume of a shape is, number one, you need to identify what shape is it. If you can't figure out what shape it is, then you can't find the formula. So what shape is this? What is it called? Look at your formula sheet and tell me the name of it. Yes, Abigail. So this is a rectangular prism. So once you identify the shape, you're going to figure out what is the formula that I need to use. Your sheet. So we're going to write this formula. Volume equals LWH. What does that mean? Length times width times height. You can put it in brackets if you want. You can write that on your formula sheet, right? You can put the brackets. You can put a note on the side, length times width times height. And in the diagram, it tells you which value would be represented by the length. So the length would be the long side, right? So on your paper, I want you to label this as L. Which one would be the width? 4 centimeters or 2 centimeters? 4 centimeters is the width. And then 2 centimeters is the height, right? So all you do is plug it in, calculate the volume. Length is what? What number do I put for length? 5 times 4 times 2. Very simple. It's multiplication. You can multiply it all together. It doesn't matter the order. What's 5? We can do this in our head. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. Is that my answer? Yeah. V equals 40, or am I forgetting something? Centimeters. You look to see what the unit is. And volume is always cubed. Okay? This is a triangular prism. So again, if you don't identify the shape properly, then you won't get the correct formula. Now there's 2 ways you can write the formula. I like using this method. Volume is equal to, B stands for what? If you want to put a note on your formula sheet, base times length times height, and then what do you do with that? Divide it by 2. Okay, so I want you to highlight that on your formula sheet. It's very important that you understand here which value represents the height. This is very important. Put a note. It's the height of the prism. It's not the height of the base. So let's go through it step by step. What number is the base of the prism? Is it an 8, an 18, or a 20? 8. Good. This is the base. What is the length of the prism? 18. No. 20. Okay, so this is the base of the prism, right? Okay, on your formula sheet, it's kind of drawn upside down. I want you to write a note here. When you're looking at the length, it's the length of the base, how long the base is. This is very important. What is the height of the prism? 18 is the height. If you were to stand this up and put it flat on its base, that's how tall it is, okay? So the base is 8 times 20 times the height is 18. And you're going to take all of that and you're going to divide it by 2. So it's important that you simplify this in the correct order. I have to do this part first. Simplify your numerator. What is 8 times 20 times 8? I'm going to stop in a minute. Okay, this one's easy because they actually tell you what shape you're looking at. It's a cube. What do you know about a cube? All the sides are the same, right? So what is the formula of a cube? It's not on your formula sheet, but what is the formula? What could you look at to get the formula? And if you want to even draw a picture on your formula sheet to find the volume of a cube, well, you're taking the length times the width times the height, but in this case, it's a cube, so all sides of the cube are the same. So the volume of a cube is actually equal to whatever the length is to the power of 3. You're multiplying it by itself 3 times, right? It's volume equals length times length times length. Whatever the length is, that's the width and that's the height because it's a cube. So if you would like to include this on your formula sheet, right? Volume of a cube, I'll give you a minute to copy that. And in this case, what's the length of the cube? What number? Mohammed? 2. If I do 2 times 2 times 2, or you can write it as 2 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3 means you're multiplying it by itself 3 times because the length, the width, and the height are all equal. What is 2 times 2 times 2 equal to? 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So the volume of this cube is 8 centimeters cubed. You're given the area of the triangular face of the paperweight. Okay, the area of the face. So if it has a triangle, the area of that is 30 centimeters squared. And then it says that this paperweight has a thickness, so it's 3D. I don't know, I'm just going to draw it like this. It has a thickness of what? What's the thickness of it? 14 centimeters. Now, we're trying to figure out the, yeah, that is pretty big. We're trying to figure out the volume of this paperweight. What is the shape? It's a triangular prism, right? Now, there's actually a step you can skip in this one because the volume of a triangular prism is equal to the area of the base, so whatever the area of the base is, times the height. Normally, in the last question here, we actually had to calculate the area of the base and then multiply by the height. But in this case, they actually give you the area of the base. What is it? What's the area of the base? 30. Yeah. They tell you the area of the base. So you can skip all those steps. Take the area of the base and multiply it by the height. What's the height? 14. That's it. So what's 30 times 14? 420 centimeters cubed.